Early April 1945, an airfield somewhere in the occupied part of Nazi Germany. Behind the front, George Stevense and his camera team are taking pictures of German aircraft which have fallen largely intact into American hands. For the last 10 months, Hollywood director Stevense has been filming on behalf of the US military leadership in Europe. The special feature of his work is that he is using 16mm color film.
The aircraft here also include a Messerschmitt Bf-109, a successful model Allied and Soviet pilots learned to fear. The German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, had been unable to prevent the Allies from crossing the Rhine. Consequently, the outcome of the war in the West had long been decided. George Stevense and his men were witnessing the demise of the Nazi regime.
Here, on an airfield somewhere in Belgium or in a part of Germany that has already been occupied, a squadron of American P-47 fighter aircraft are preparing to head off on another mission. A cameraman with Special Film Project 186 took this footage of the ground crews in April 1945. For him, these men were the less well-known heroes of the war in the air. They made sure that the aircraft being flown were in the best possible condition.
The P-47 Thunderbolt was a single-engine American fighter bomber which proved to be one of the most effective aircraft in the war against the Nazis. During the Second World War, US manufacturer Republic produced over 15,000 of these all-metal mid-wing monoplanes. The P-47 had just one pilot. As a rule, Thunderbolts attacked their targets in small squadrons. That was also the case in March and April 1945.
Some of the Thunderbolts had automatic cameras on board, which took spectacular pictures. In order to cripple the Wehrmacht's supply routes, the pilots attacked literally anything that moved. Railway lines and freight yards were favourite targets.
Time and again, individual vehicles were also attacked, because every army truck or military staff car that was hit would no longer be able to lengthen the war in Europe. The US Air Force had long since gained control of large areas of German airspace. So as a rule, its planes usually carried out their missions without being threatened. It's not known how many civilians lost their lives in these attacks. The US Air Force regarded such casualties as collateral damage. Troops and fanatical Nazis could have been holed up in harmless-looking villages in order to stop the Allied advance.
The US Air Force's bomber fleet was also in action over Germany, hitting strategic targets. The aim was to make airfields and supply routes unusable. By now, the Luftwaffe was almost incapable of putting up any effective defence. The Nazis had ultra-modern jet aircraft at their disposal, but often their Messerschmitt Me-262s were grounded, mainly because of a shortage of fuel.
Time and again, as they advanced, the Americans came across camouflaged Me-262s. The jet was capable of attacking Allied aircraft at a speed of up to 870 kilometers an hour. Experts eagerly inspected the new aircraft and their futuristic jet engines, which had been developed by Messerschmitt in Augsburg. The US Air Force had every reason to fear the Me-262. Its fleets of bombers had been successfully attacked time and again. American pilots had little chance of defending themselves against the fast jets. Me-262s were still shooting down numerous US aircraft even in March and April 1945.
Somewhere in the occupied part of Nazi Germany, a camera team from Special Film Project 186 is filming a totally devastated airfield. The hangars are all damaged and the wreckage of burnt-out aircraft is strewn around. To enhance the effectiveness of this pan shot, the camera team have placed a portrait of Hitler in it, upside down, of course. It is intended to symbolize the imminent downfall of the dictator and his Nazi regime.